Thank you so much, Eric, and thank you so much, everyone. I am Vaishali, and I'm joining you today from the UK with a little story. It's a folk tale from Russia. Kalinka, kalinka, kalinka mayo. Sagera goda kalinka, kalinka, kalinka mayo. Kalinka, kalinka, kalinka mayo. Davni, davno, as they say in Russian, a long, long, long time ago, in the village of Nizhny Novgorod in Russia, there lived a merchant. He had 3 beautiful daughters, but the youngest was the loveliest of all, for she was not just beautiful on the outside, but also on the inside. Her eyes were always ready to see the good around her. Her hands were always ready to do good for people around her. Her 2 elder sisters pricked on her and they called her Glupishka, which means little stupid. They always made fun of her. They made her do all the work. For she was so kind and innocent, you see. One day, the merchant needed to go out of town for some work, and he called all the 3 daughters and asked them, "What would you like to bring me? What would you like me to bring back as gifts?" The 2 elder daughters asked for beautiful satin clothes, leather embroidered in gold, for they wanted to make shoes out of it. And he turned to the little one and asked, "My dear, what do you want?" She said, "Father, bring me a silver saucer and a juicy apple." "No wonder they call you Glupishka," is what he thought. But of course, he didn't say that aloud. And he said, "Yes, my lovely daughters, whatever you've asked for, I shall bring it." And he waved them goodbye and he set off. The merchant returned after a month. No sooner had he even got off his carriage, the 2 elder daughters rushed and grabbed their gifts, while little Glupishka helped him get off the carriage, dusted off his clothes, brought him inside the house, served him some food to eat, and then he produced a silver saucer and a juicy apple as little Glupishka had wished for. "What are you going to do with this, my dear?" And she said, "Thank you, Father." And she started spinning the apple round and round and round on the silver saucer. It spun so fast until it formed a mist. And she looked in that mist. She could see lakes, she could see rivers, she could see palaces, castles. She could see the Tsar and the Tsarina sitting on their throne. She could see people dancing in the villages, having fun, making a lot of merry. She could see all the beautiful things in the world, and her eyes shone. Her sisters envied her. They wondered, what is it that she can see in this silver saucer which we can't see? And so they asked her, "Let's make a deal. Take all our beautiful clothes and we shall give you all our lovely shoes. Give us that silver saucer. Give us that juicy apple." No, she refused. And so the sisters made a dark plan in the dark corner of the house. The next day, they asked Glupishka, "Would you like to come with us for wild berry picking?" "I would rather play with my juicy apple and silver saucer," is what she told them. "Do you expect us to carry all the berries home and ruin our beautiful clothes?" Little Glupishka had no choice, but she had to go with them to the forest, wild berry picking. And of course, she took her silver saucer and her juicy apple along with her. And she plucked berries until she had emptied all the bushes and until her silver saucer was full of berries. And then she looked for her sisters and she wondered where they are. And she saw them standing in a corner with an axe. "You don't need an axe to pick berries, do you?" "Give us that silver saucer. Give us that juicy apple." And they had chopped off her head. They hurried, picked up that saucer, put the apple, started spinning, and they looked greedily inside. What is it that they could see? Nothing, nothing at all. They tried again. Absolutely nothing. It's useless. They dug up a hole. They put her body, little Glupishka's body, inside. They even put the silver saucer and the apple, and they covered up the mound with earth. Now, they went home. Little Glupishka has been eaten away by wild wolves, is what they told their father. Summer turned to autumn. The leaves started falling off the trees. Autumn turned to winter. It started snowing. And of course, winter turns to spring always. And from that mound of earth came out a solitary reed, and a shepherd boy who passed from that place saw this reed, picked it up, wilted some holes in there, and he wanted to play music. But before even he had placed it near his lips, the reed started to play some music. Zazloshki mi glazami, ani pokrenele minia, vaglubokam tiemnam lesu. They buried me with cruel eyes in the deep dark wood. And he sank to his knees. He quickly tried to, dig that mound of earth. And there he saw her beautiful body. It was as cold as a stone. "Will you not wake me up from my sleep in the deep dark wood?" And he also spotted that silver saucer, but the apple had almost become like a pulp. It was it almost turned into pulp. And as he poured that pulp over her lips, and as the juice went into her throat, her eyes fluttered open. Her cheeks, which were as white, turned pink. The shepherd boy pulled her out of that mound, And there, in those beautiful eyes, he could see all the beauty in the world. Kalinka, kalinka, kalinka mayo. Sadaya goda kalinka, kalinka, kalinka mayo. Thank you. So that was a story, a folk tale from Russia. The name was Silver Saucer and Apple Juice. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. So the girl who was killed, she was kind of reborn through the reed, which sang her story, and that led to a full resurrection when the apple juice, apple sauce, came to her lips. The story doesn't mention any punishment for the wrongdoers.
I actually Googled up. I heard this story many years back when I lived in Russia for a couple of years, and when I had gone to a museum, and it just came back to me at some point of time, and then I Googled up. So there are many different, because it's a folk tale. It also had a longer version where the parents, when they found out that the daughter was buried, they questioned the two elder sisters as to why they did so, and then they were taken to the Tsar and the Tsarina, and they wanted to punish the two elder daughters. But of course, the parents, they didn't want to punish the elder daughters by killing them, because after all, they loved all the three daughters. And then of course, the daughters, they accepted the crime, and then they seeked forgiveness from the Tsar and the Tsarina. And so that was what I read. Yeah. I found it very interesting. So I thought that this is one story that I would love to share. Yeah.
There are many stories about people dying and then plants growing out of their above their grave, and those plants or trees or flowers giving testimony about
Yeah.
what happened. It's a it's a sort of a hope that a hope for justice, a hope for for justice.
Yeah.
Anybody, any thoughts, comments, questions, resonations? Anything like that happen in your life where somebody was mean to you, but then somehow you survived and got justice in the end? You're able to give testimony. You know, earlier, some hours ago, somebody was saying that it's not so, it's wrong to glorify beauty of women in fairy tales. Uh, but, I think in fairy tales, beauty is always a reflection of inner beauty. When it's said that someone is beautiful, it's about, it is a reflection. So it's not just external beauty. And she is certainly authentic. One story part in there is that that apple works for her in a wonderful way, right? She spins it, and out of that comes a vision. But the people who are not authentic, the people who are not sincere, who try to go through the same motions, it doesn't work for them.
They're
That's a
not.
very popular motif in fairy tales.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anyone recognize it from any other story?
Well, that was a good thing to learn, right?
Okay. Thank you very much. It's a lovely story, and you told it beautifully. So now we'll stop